Hello and welcome to MusicSceneSD TV, the show where you find out about San Diego's burgeoning music scene, both on stage and behind the scenes. It's brought to you by EnterTalk.net and Local Umbrella Media, who takes care of the publishing side of things. We're going to kick things off this week with some information about the San Diego Music Awards taking place August 24th at Humphreys Concerts by the Bay. This year, we're going to have a series of showcase gigs taking place in the weeks before the big event to kind of show off the different groups and music that San Diego has to offer. The shows will kick off August 12th with a special performance at the Casbah of hip-hop and rap artists, including Bloodstone the Street Preacher, Corey Blaze, PCH and Evolve One, Sloat Dixon, Keemon, and the Tovin. The very next night at the Casbah, August 13th, they'll have Electric Mud, Aviator Stash, Hocus, and Fuzz Huzzy. Meanwhile, on August 14th, the Poorhouse will feature Nowhere Land, The Have-A-Nots, and more TBA. The 15th of August, we'll have the Holding Company featuring Maruja, Sometimes Julie, SM Familia, and The Naked Eye. Finally, on August 20th will be the big blowout at Navajo Live with Dave Preston and the Grown-Ups, Julia Sage, S. Matthias, Manzanita Blues, the Wise Monkey Orchestra, Piet Pund, and Rosa's Cantina. Get there early for that one. That show starts at 6 o'clock. In other news, there are two new all-star groups that local music listeners will need to hear. The first one is called Three-Headed Monster, who has recently released a 3-song, 8-minute project. The group features 2020 San Diego Music Award Best Hip Hop Rap winners Riston Diggs and Sly Beats, as well as Mike Holmes. The other new all-star group, well worth checking out, is called the Blindfold Monks, who describe their songs as the sounds of an Irish traditional band with a punk heart. Truly an all-star group, the members include guitarist David Lally of Brogue Wave, Matt Hensley, the accordion player of Flog and Molly, as well as Nato Bardeen, Gabe Messer, Todd Eisenhurst, and Rory Dolan on drums, all four of the latter being former members of Oceanside indie rock band The Drowning Men. Definitely worth checking out. A lot of fun. Meanwhile, the biggest street fair of the year, the Adams Avenue Street Fair, is back. No word on performers at press time at the moment, but music fans will want to hold both September 18th and 19th open for this free outdoor all-ages event. You won't want to miss this. San Diego's singer-songwriter community can breathe a sigh of relief. Lestats may be gone, but host Louis Brazier has moved their famed open mic Monday night show to the Kensington Club effective immediately. Performers can sign up at 6 p.m. to play their hearts out. You get acts of all levels, from signed performers to up-and-coming newcomers. It's a lot of fun, and you don't want to miss it. Take a chance on some news tunes. Meanwhile, also kind of in the open mic situation, but a little bit different, Emily Bartell is hosting a new Big Blues Jam every Wednesday at Navajo Live. Manzanita Blues and Chicken Bone Slim will rotate as the house band. There's a 6 p.m. sign up, and yes, the band will back you if you want to play, or you're welcome to play your own solo material. But that's every Wednesday, the Big Blues Jam at the Navajo Live. And finally this week, a couple of minor things to close out, but they're kind of fun. I want to point out that guitarist Pat Beers of Schizophonics, The Little Richards, etc. will be a special guest on the upcoming album from legendary garage rockers, The Woggles. At the same time, on July 1st, Coral Bells will be hosting a release show for their third EP, Still Be Home, at the Holding Company. No cover before 9 p.m., so you want to get there early. And finally, we want to welcome singer Liz Ajuzzi, originally from Missouri, as the new lead singer for Sue Palmer and her Motel Swing Orchestra. Sue Palmer is one of the greatest piano players that San Diego's ever seen. Her band is amazing. We welcome Liz. We'll see you at the next show. Cheers. Hello and welcome to MusicSceneSD TV, brought to you by EnterTalkMedia.com and Local Umbrella Media Publishing, who put out a series of great newspapers, community papers in town. This episode, we're here with Mark Langford, the co-founder, actually the founder and owner of Rock and Roll San Diego, and now also Spectrum Audio, correct, sir?
That's correct, Bart.
Good to see you, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me, how long has Rock and Roll San Diego been around?
Actually, 10 years. June 4th was our 10th year since we've opened.
Now, San Diego has a lot of rehearsal studios and a lot of recording studios, a lot of stuff that's music related, but Rock and Roll San Diego is special. Tell the audience here about all the different things that you can find there. It's an amazing building.
Yeah, well, first we opened it as a rock school.
Uh-huh.
We wanted to have, teach people how to get up on stage and rock, because there's many places you can learn how to play.
Right.
And so the goal was to get people in bands, teach them stage etiquette, teach them how to deal with, different tech people, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And at the beginning, we had a lot of real estate because we're about 13,000 square feet.
Wow.
So I started calling friends bands who had bands, say, hey, you guys want a rehearsal room? And so we started doing rehearsal rooms. And then we ended up with repairs as well, and started doing some rentals. And the rehearsal rooms really took precedence after maybe the first 4 years or so. It just turned more into more of a professional facility that people could come from all over, or just if you've never even been in a band and you want to start a band, come over to our place and you can get in a room and turn it up.
Now, I want to point out as well that this isn't just amateur hour. A lot of professional bands from San Diego performing, but also national acts as well. Like I've seen Ace Frehley from Kiss, Steve Tyler from Aerosmith has been in there. The Beach Boys have been in there as well, right?
Right, Village People were there.
B-52s?
B-52s.
So you've had a lot of celebs come through there that rehearse and use. So we're talking world-class facilities.
We even had on one day, we had Billy Gibbons, we had Nancy Wilson, George Thorogood,
Warren Haynes was there.
All in one day there.
Yeah, and also the Miami Horns, I think, were there that day. And what a place. And that was on the Hendricks stage, which is the big room, right?
Yeah, we call it Hendricks Hall. Right?
Hendricks Hall. Okay, how many people does that?
Well, it's really not that big. It's stated to hold about 100, but we figure 60, 65 is what people. But mainly, it's a place to get in and practice your performance and work out the bugs. And
yeah, it's a full stage and
full stage. Yeah, and we have the full lighting rig, full PA in there, and it's a nice, small, intimate venue. And I would like to do more intimate now that COVID's opening up, more intimate concerts. So
cool. Now, you guys have really put a lot into streaming recently, right?
Yeah, well, because of COVID, we basically were shut down our rehearsal rooms, and we figured, okay, let's get people out in the public by streaming. So I made a substantial investment. I got a business loan and put the money into getting all the proper gear to be able to do that.
Okay, that's phenomenal. What are you proudest about with Rock and Roll San Diego at this point?
I think the fact that what you said is just having great musicians there. And I mean, everyone who plays, it just amazes me every time, even when you're brand new, because you see the development. Someone will come in and you say, okay, and then you hear them the next month and the next month, and pretty soon next thing you see them out there winning the music awards or something. I mean, there was one kid who came through, Sterling, who was in one of our bands. And then I saw him a couple years ago and he's rehearsing in the hall. He says, oh, I'm playing at the Sports Arena for the 1975s, opening for them. And I was like, holy cow, that's a success story right there.
Well, I think Rock and Roll San Diego is exactly the sort of facility that San Diego needs to bring everything to the next level. You guys have everything there. I mean, even, dare I say it, Pacific Records is located in the building. I mean, so right there, it's one stop, everything you need. So be sure to check out Rock and Roll San Diego, and we'll be talking to Mark Langford here in future episodes. Cheers. In the meantime, let's bring on our musical guest, Ed Kornhauser. Ed, come on down. Everybody, this is Ed Kornhauser, nominated this year for the categories of Best Jazz Album and Album of the Year for his album, The Short Years. Aren't you glad I didn't call it the Wonder Years like I was going to?
I appreciate that.
These titles get in your head and stuff. So, Ed, let me ask you right off the bat. I mean, you're well known for your piano playing, obviously. But what drew you to jazz piano in particular? What was it about it that made you want to play that?
Well, I kind of like that, with jazz, you can create everything on the spot. You could be completely in the moment, creating, exploring, going in different directions. And with a good band, you could do that as a group too. And I found that prospect just exciting. And that was the thing that spoke to me. I tried a bunch of different creative outlets as a kid, and music was finally the one that stuck. And then when I found jazz and I found piano, that was like the clicker.
Well, who are your influences in your playing style?
Well, like almost every jazz pianist, I fell in love with Oscar Peterson kind of from the jump, but also Bill Evans and Herbie Hancock when I got a little bit older. In my college years, I was very into Robert Glasper, also the Bad Plus, and their former pianist, Ethan Iverson, was a huge influence. And then later on, of course, kind of going back to the old days, still one of my favorite pianists. I wake up to a picture of him on my wall every day, Errol Garner.
Oh, wow.
It's one of my all-time favorites.
Play Misty for me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. R.I.P. Jessica Walter.
Cool. Well, let me ask you as well. Now, you're known for supporting. You're going to be nominated this year, of course, for your own work, but you're known for supporting bands. You play a supporting role in with a lot of performers.
I'm a band member. Yes.
Who are some of your favorites, and do you prefer leading the band or being part of the band?
Well, doing this last record and leading this group that I've been doing for the past couple of years has been kind of a new thing for me. I've often been a band member. It kind of going back and forth between different genres. I've played in a lot of different jazz groups of various kinds, and some funky stuff, some pop stuff, some country stuff. Played with this group, Jesse LaMonica and the Dime Novels, for a bunch of years. And I've just always been sort of a support guy. I love just sliding in and filling in a spot. And I've recorded a lot, you know, with other people, and I quite like to do that. Come in and guest, and then get out. I know I've recorded with you a couple of times.
Yeah, we did a couple of songs about 10 years ago that
full disclosure. Yeah.
Full disclosure, yes, actually some of the best stuff I've ever recorded. He's actually the guy that plays on Can't Seem to Make You Mine, which is going to be a 45 10 years later.
Wow.
Later on this year. So that's something for fans and collectors of both of us to look forward to.
I have to hear that again. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. It has been. Now, do you have anything special planned for Humphreys out? You know, it's an outdoor stage this year for the Music Awards. We've been at the House of Blues for the last 4 or 5 years, and I think personally, I think it's a wonderful location. How do you feel about playing outdoors?
I'm very excited about it. I've been doing it a lot the past year, as a lot of people have been. But I'm excited that that this awards ceremony is going to be there. I always like the outdoor venue a little bit more.
Well, we've had a lot of downtime over the last year and a half. I'm sure all of us did actually. But how did you use your pandemic time?
I won't lie. I really explored doing nothing for a long period of time. I kind of liked it. I sort of am a bit of a workaholic, and I'm a full-time musician. You know, not just my own stuff, but doing all sorts of gigs to kind of, you know. There's the fancy rich cocktail party, and then I'm in the corner playing piano, that type of thing. Okay. I do a lot of that to kind of make my rent, and I was doing 40+ gigs a month.
Wow.
And it was all I did. And once I finally I didn't choose to take a break, of course. Everyone had to kind of stop. I kind of realized that there's a lot more to life than just working. I think the grind is a
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's hard when you love what you do.
Yes.
It's an easy trap to fall into, just always do it. But there's more to life, and at least I want to do more. And so I, you know, explored the space and, you know, got into various other things. But I was, of course, writing, and I did a lot of live streaming on my own, and also from a studio down in East Lake called well, it's in a school called Avant-Garde Music Studios, but the studio is called Electric Louis Land. I did a lot of streams down there. I actually released my album in November from there virtually.
So this is your debut album, right?
As a leader, yeah.
As a leader, right? So now, are you already working on a follow-up?
I've been writing some music during this year, some new stuff, and kind of there's a really great. I listened to him. There's sort of the soundtrack of the pandemic for me. Guitarist named Bill Frisell.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
wonderful.
And I've been really into his stuff lately, and kind of exploring how to blend the sounds of Americana and country and folk, but bringing in sort of a jazz sensibility and concept into it. There's a lot of guys that do that, but I found that language really speaking to me this last year. Him and great pianist in LA named Larry Goldings, if you know him. He's session guy. He's also does a bunch of great stuff. He's also very funny. If you follow him on the social media, he's a brilliant musician. He's played with everybody. Plays with James Taylor a lot.
Oh, very
actually.
Cool. Very cool. Well, I wanted to ask Mark as well. You know, Mark is a musician, a great guitar player, does classical nowadays. You may recall him from the old days from the heavy metal band or the metal band Bible Black. So he's got range. The man has range, right? So I wanted to ask you how you spent your musician time pandemic-wise. What did you do to keep your chops up?
Writing. I've been writing a ton of stuff. Nonstop. I mean, that's really how my time's, besides running Rock and Roll San Diego. And I've been taking a lot of poetry, classic poetry, and I'm putting music and lyrics, melody to it.
Yeah. What kind of classic poetry?
Well, it's actually Irish. I had a little book of Irish poetry my daughter brought back from Ireland. It was sitting on a bookshelf one day. I had my guitar in my hand. I picked it up and I read one of the poems, and within a very few minutes, I had put this whole thing together. I went, wow, I love it. I took 16 of them. So that's one of the projects that I'll be putting out soon, as an album of that.
Is that going to be your debut solo?
Well, for that project, yeah. And I'm just having so much fun because the words are so classic. They stood the test of time. Most of them are from the 1800s, and just what I'm doing with them, it's not Irish music. It's just whatever the song. And I tried to cram preconceived chord progressions you might develop over time, and it didn't work. And several of them was interesting because as I read the poem, I had the guitar in my hand. By the time I was done, I had it. I mean, probably 95% I had it. And I went, that's divine intervention right there.
That's perfect.
Anyway, I love it.
That's excellent. Excellent. So Ed, what's next for you? What do you got coming up in the rest of this year? We're about halfway done, right?
Let's see here. What do I have next? It's a little hard to keep track. I know I'm performing at the San Diego Music Awards in
August 24th, 7 p.m.
24th, yeah. Wow, I have the most god-awful memory, I swear. I know in the next couple of weeks I'm going to be playing at the fair.
Oh, you're doing the county fair?
Yeah, every day.
Every day?
Every day.
What
every
time?
day it's open except for 2 that I'm not making. 4 to 8. There's with a group called Juicebox.
Juicebox.
Kind of
yeah.
kind of a jazz thing.
Yeah, excellent.
Which is kind of neat that they're doing that. Then I'm actually taking some time off and going to the East Coast for a while.
Oh, well,
just a pure vacation.
I'm glad you're going to have a good time, but San Diego music fans will miss you. But I'll definitely check you out at the fair. That's very, very cool that you're playing that. That's, it's one of the best gigs that you can get in the year. It's just a lot of fun. There's so many, 1.2 million people average go through the county fair. I'm sure this year it's going to be a little smaller because of everything that's happened, but it's still a primo gig. So congratulations on that. What are you going to be playing for us next?
I'm going to be doing a tune of mine, the second track off my record, and it's called Celadon.
Celadon. All right, we'll be right back on MusicSceneSD TV with Ed Kornhauser and Celadon. Welcome to MusicSceneSD TV's Cool Stuff Corner. I'm here with Michelle Palermo, the seamstress for the band.
Hi.
And on this episode, we're going to highlight a wonderful publication, actually, to my mind, the best music magazine on the planet, Ugly Things. I don't know, have you seen this before?
I actually haven't seen it before. What kind of music's in it?
Well, this actually delves into, and I mean delves into deep into the 60s, 50s, and some 70s rock and roll. So it's got everything from punk rock to, just basically all kinds of great, great music. This one in here has Craig Bell and the Mirrors, Colored Balls, Brute Force, and much, much more. You're going to see some pictures here of issues that have come out over the years. But certainly, if you like rock and roll, if you like to read about rock and roll, Ugly Things is the publication of choice. This is something you need to pick up. It's based in San Diego. It's edited by Mike Stacks. You may know him from The Loons, Telltale Hearts, etc. And certainly an essential read for any music fan anywhere. Check it out. Hello and welcome back to MusicSceneSD TV. We're here with pianist Ed Kornhauser, who's nominated for a San Diego Music Award this year in the category of Best Jazz Album for his album, The Short Years. Take it away, Ed. Thank you, Ed Kornhauser. Ed Kornhauser is nominated this year at the 30th Annual San Diego Music Awards in the category of Best Jazz Album for the short years and, incredibly, also for Album of the Year. Congratulations, Ed.